tweets about the weekend in general, and we can talk a bit more about some of the other people we met that we've not covered off yet, that we didn't necessarily watch games with, but we ran into
and said hello to, yeah.
Batley and Swinton, the big movers, up to 3rd and 7th respectively. A group of 4 teams are separated by 1 point, occupying places 3 to 6. So that will be the interesting area in the table in this regular season running to claim that final middle 8 spot, and the security and TV coverage and exposure that comes with that.
There you go. Okay, so other tweets then to do with our time at the Summer Bash. Mark Salvey said, just a quick one, why not have free attendance for the Summer Bash? Surely they can fill Bloomfield Road and have a mixture of Championship and lower division matches, maybe a Super League fixture. They will not give away free, they won't do free tickets. They won't make you free.
They couldn't afford to.
No.
From what we understand, the clubs have to contribute towards the running expenses of the event as well as the RFL paying. The clubs aren't exactly loaded in that part of the sporting structure. Also, I mean, the attendance was a record, but like Magic Weekend, it was only a marginal improvement. It was about 300 or so more people over the aggregate than it was the year before, but that's positive. It's not negative.
Especially when you consider it wasn't marketed in any way as well as it was the year before.
I don't think it was marketed well at all around I didn't see much at all anywhere locally. Let's put it that way. To get local people in to the event. I don't know how well it was marketed by all of the clubs. I mean, they were pushing it on social media and stuff, but I don't know if that's been a sustained thing or just over the last few weeks.
Yeah.
The aggregate attendance for the weekend was higher than the usual aggregate attendance for a championship weekend. That's fair to say. But, and this is where I'm going to have my rant of the week, I think, more than even the Thaler thing or what have you.
Okay.
Us rugby league fans, we're the problem. We need to understand that we're the problem.
Yeah.
Because we should be selling out these things. It was 20 quid for a day ticket, 30 quid for a weekend ticket. Now, I know some people would have to pay to stay over somewhere or whatever as well, but it's not just the fact of that. It looks so empty on the TV cameras because even worse than the Magic Weekend, fans only go and watch their own team play.
I do not understand the logic of that.
I mean, don't get me wrong, there were plenty of people who stayed there for all games or most of the games and watched a lot of it. But the majority of fans only turned up for their own teams. I mean, the Bulls did a big thing about, like, let's all march down to the game together.
Yeah.
Like, try and get 500 of us or whatever. Fair enough. Why don't you just let's all get 500 of us in there from kick-off of the iPro final and sing for 4 games?
Yeah. No, I agree. It flies in the face of kind of any sort of inclusivity, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And, like, growing it as a group thing. Your team's playing, but let's have it as a group day. Right?
Wouldn't it be better to have it so? Wouldn't it be better for your sport, your team, to have your competitions one moment in the sun all year, full, rather than sparsely populated because you're all at South Pier planning on marching down together? And I'm not having a go at the Bradford fans who did that. That is good for them, and the Bradford fans created a great atmosphere within the stadium for most of the game before as well.
Yeah.
Other than the Whitehaven fans were in the same end, so that helped contribute to that noise that was coming from there. But it's just frustrating that so few clubs fans hung around. Like, there was loads of Keighley fans, weren't there, for the cup final?
Yeah.
They'd all gone.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe they wanted to go out and celebrate with the players because they'd won. Fair enough to an extent, but still, where were the Workington fans other than during the Workington game? Where were the Sheffield fans other than during their game? It's just like, be there more, guys. Come on.
Exactly. No, I agree with you. Okay.
Let's before we can start talking about as a sport, why we can't afford a bigger salary cap across the board, why there's not more professional full-time teams competing so that we don't have to worry too much about this uncertainty of promotion and relegation really affecting things massively at clubs.
Yeah.
Why we can't have more star names playing in our competition. All of these things, right? Before we know more about those things and criticise the RFL for all this stuff and everything like that, where are they getting the income from to market the arse off of these events if no one's paying to go to these events?
Yeah.
And I'm sorry to jump on like we're having to go at Mark because his point's fine and fair, and it would hopefully... I don't know if making it free would have filled it. Let's put it that way. Because I don't think more people would have gone.
I'm not sure it would have done.
No. And I've long thought about that, and you have to strike that balance, and probably they wouldn't. Because, you know, they do offers on these tickets. You could have probably got day tickets for £10 or £15 at Christmas time, and no one, you know, it's just not enough support from the supporters. And we all find ways to moan at the governing body, at everything, at the TV companies, at everything we can moan at. But until we start filling stadiums, until we start selling out events like the Four Nations, all of those games should sell out, as far as I'm concerned. If England Rugby Union can sell out a meaningless warm-up game for a meaningless international summer series, they can sell that out at Twickenham, charging between £40 and £200 a ticket. We can't sell out Blackpool at £20 a ticket for the day. We can't start talking about why they have a much bigger salary cap than us, why they can afford more stuff than us in their sport, until we start fully attending all our big days. We need to sell out Magic, we need to sell out the Bash, we need to sell out Cup semi-finals, we need to sell out Wembley, we need to sell out Old Trafford, we need to sell out every international game. Then we can start thinking, what are the RFL doing wrong here? There's already enough fans to sell those games out in this sport. We know that from TV viewing figures, we know that from weekly attendances in Super League. Sell them out. Simple.
It's Mark Illingworth running for president of Rugby League, everyone. Okay. You know, you make some very good points.
Yeah, and I know we're not all rich and we can't all afford to go to all games. I certainly can't afford to go to all games. I can't make all games. I think that's why if we focus on the events, that's the whole
pinnacle stuff. Yeah,
and then you get more people coming to all of it because it's bigger.
Simple. I agree. Are you alright? No, you make some very strong and passionate points, and I agree wholeheartedly. Richard Tordoff said, sorry I missed you guys, but a fantastic game yesterday between Lee and Bradford. Great advert for Championship Rugby. So yeah, no, it was a shame we didn't get to meet you, Rich. One person we did get to say hello to was Vicky McQueen. She said, hi Super League Pub, great to finally put faces to your voices yesterday. Hope you had a good day. I had completely forgotten that we met Vicky, and then it was when she tweeted, and I was like, oh God, yeah, we met Vicky. So.
We met Vicky pretty early doors, probably just
on our way round towards the London game. Oh, was it for the London game?
Yeah.
I was pissed by then.
Well, I know you were. You nailed about 5 pints during iPro Cup final.
It was a worthwhile endeavour. Right, Fat Boy Rob. This is after we tweeted some pictures out. So Tom's face belongs with Mark's voice. Mind blown.
Wow, yeah.
I'm not sure if that's a backhanded compliment or a backhanded insult. I don't know. Strange. Maybe he thinks I sound like a slim and wonderful statistician rather than some, I don't know, hefty thing. Or maybe he thinks I look a bit geeky. I don't know where he's going with it. Not sure. Paul Michael Craig, after watching day 1 of the Summer Bash, I don't know why Sky Sports RL don't show a weekly match. The standard is pretty good. Yeah, true. Colin Render said, go on.
I don't think you can do it weekly. You look at, like, last weekend, we were struggling, for last weekend's fixtures, we were struggling to pick up a game of the week.
Yeah.
Next weekend's games, picking a game of the week wasn't straightforward. There is too much discrepancy between, you know, Workington, Swinton, Oldham, Whitehaven, round the bottom way, and London, Lee, Bradford, round the top way of this league, to make it that every week could have a game, but there's certainly games within that are definitely worth putting on television.
There you go. I agree. I'm finding it hard this week because you're making a lot of good points and I can't do much apart from go, I agree.
The problem with it is when the top teams are playing each other, the bottom teams are also playing each other.
Yeah.
So the games that are going to be closer, they're all on at the same time, and you can't necessarily predict the upset games, unfortunately.
Yeah.
That's just the way it is.
They're having trouble with that in Super League, aren't they? That's why Leeds keep getting on TV, because everyone seems to think that they'll come good. Colin Render said, fantastic end to fantastic day of rugby. Hope day 2 of Summer Bash is just as good. Well done to all players and fans. BJKD said, the problem with the Summer Bash is that Sky are desperately trying to build up a league they willfully ignore all year. Paul Campbell said, brilliant day in Blackpool. Broncos won and Bradford lost. Smiley face emoticon. Good stuff, Paul. And Alan Walker says he's looking forward to Summer Bash reports. Looked a big success. New venue next time or in 2018. What are the views? And I think it's fine where it is.
Ralph Rummer was interviewed after the event on Sky and seemed to sort of suggest Blackpool's a good fit for this league, for these fans, for this event. For us, it's a perfect fit because it's down the road, which makes it a great event for us to get to. But no, I think it can move and probably should move at some point. I don't think you should have it in one place necessarily. The same with the Magic Weekend. I still think that should move around eventually. I think what you have to do is sell it out at least once at Blackpool before you can move it to somewhere else.
Yeah.
Because the more people that go to it in one venue, they'll enjoy it, but what they'll do is get out of it what you should get out of it, which is this is a great festival of rugby league.
Yeah.
And then that will allow them people to go, or encourage them people to go somewhere else for it as well.
Yeah.
And then so what you do is then you move it to somewhere maybe slightly bigger to try and then sell out that venue. And if it doesn't work, you've always got going back to Blackpool.
Yeah.
It's not a backward step necessarily.
It's just rotating.
It's exactly.
Rotating even.
Yeah, so I think that's where you need to come at it. If Blackpool starts to show two things, if it becomes too big for Blackpool, which would be amazing, but
it's never going to happen.
I'm not optimistic on that, unfortunately. Then it should move, or if it starts to go the wrong way, like it had done in Cardiff with Magic Weekend one year, it went down. That's when you move it, that sort of thing. But I think next year it'll grow and keep it in Blackpool, but push it more.
Yeah, that's the trick to it. Marketing it is what grows it, not moving it around.
Well, it's not just the
marketing. It's a good away day for everybody.
It's sharing. It's fans sharing their enjoyment. The ones that went to it.
Yeah,
I don't think you can rely on the clubs or the RFL to market it without the fans' input on this. It's the fans who are going to sell the event to people as being a great weekend.
I agree. Oh God, fucking stop making so many cogent points, will you?
The only person I think who we had significant meeting with that we've not mentioned so far is Ed Courtney,
yes,
the Irish London fan.
I know, amazing, with a resplendence in his moustache.
Yeah, a little bit hipster in appearance. Let's
but never mind.
Let's not take that away too much. What a great lad he is.
Thoroughly nice bloke, and he came and sort us out. We had a lovely chat with Ed, and it was nice to catch up and learn a little bit more about him and his rugby league heritage, and how he tries to find it in Dublin, and he has the odd pub that they'll put it on in and stuff. So he's out there in the hinterlands fighting the good fight, and it was a pleasure to meet him.
If Darren thinks he's picked up an Irish accent in the time he's been living in Dublin,
you've got nothing on
Ed, who's
Craggy Island Ed.
6 years he was saying he's lived and worked there for, and he said this year he's coming over more for games just because it's an uptick year for the Broncos for the first time in 5 or 10 years. So that's exciting too for him, and
it was lovely. It was lovely. Everybody met was perfectly lovely, and it was really a nice experience across the board, wasn't it?
I mean, I met lots of other people who didn't know who we were for the podcast, never heard of it, and didn't necessarily tell them about it. But
you get chatting to people
asking about the tops that we were wearing a couple of times, and
we've hopefully picked up a couple of new listeners as well. And if you're one of those, please get in touch and let us know.
Yeah, and we want to get this sort of coverage of reviews on championship games every week. From fans who go to the games, see the games. It's kind of, that's the best thing for us, is finding out stuff that we might not know because we didn't see the games. And the championship games, even more so than the Super League, are that. And now that we've had a bit more exposure with these championship fans, we often get them we always get them on London, we often get them on Bradford. Let's hear some more of you guys. That's basically what we're saying.
Exactly. So into League One then, there's only one fixture to report. That was Toulouse beating Gloucester by 48 points to 16. Into the NRL, mark truncated again as we get ready for the Magic Weekend for the Origin on Wednesday. It was the Broncos 18, the Tigers 19.
Yeah, Greg Eden grabbed a try in this, and Jack Reed had 112 metres, so Eden benefiting from, obviously, Boyd's call up to Origin.
That's it. It was the St George Illawarra Dragons 14, North Queensland Cowboys 10.
Yeah, another surprise result. Widdop got a try assist in this one, and Mike Cooper had 142 metres.
And the game of the week that we picked out was the Canberra Raiders versus the Canterbury Bulldogs, and that finished 32 points to 20.
In favour of the Raiders, and Hodgson had a try assist in this one. Elliot Whitehead also played. James Graham did his captain's knock for the Bulldogs, but it wasn't enough. 185 metres, 42 tackles.
And how did it finish between Parramatta and Newcastle?
It was 18 points to 20, so the Eels edging out there with a late-ish score.
Well remembered, because I completely forgot that we put it on for the sole purpose of recording the result. Okay, so from the Parramatta Eels to the Brentwood Eels, Mark, how's things going down in Essex?
Well, Aaron's told us it was another milestone weekend for the Eels in their short 11-year history this weekend, as the club fielded 2 adult teams in competitive fixtures for the first time, both against the Hemel Stags. The newest team lost, but showed plenty of promise for the future and played very well considering how young many of that team are. But the Open Age team, they went down to a strong Hemel side, Again, looking good in patches. Playing against a better opposition with players with more experience is only a good thing for the side. It will allow their coaching staff to see where they need to improve. The final score was 48-10 to the Stags over the Eels.